Hi, it's May 28th, 8:34 p.m. And today I want to talk about the fact that you already have all the answers. I just went out, I went outside to take the trash out, and I didn't have my phone on me. I wasn't listening to any music. I wasn't distracted, right? And there's like this very soft breeze outside right now, like the spring breeze that happens in the United States, like around this time of the year. Around May, it's kind of like cooling down and like now and then slowly like the summer will build up. Like you know what, the people living in the U.S. will know what type of spring I'm talking about. It's just like this very cool breeze, and it's like kind of light outside, but it's like I said, 8:35 p.m. So you know that summer is very close. And when I went outside today, I suddenly was hit with a wave of nostalgia. I suddenly remembered being 24, and so that was 3 years ago, and doing exactly what I was doing right now, except I wasn't where I am right now. I was in a completely different house. I was getting my master's degree, and um, I was in a very different place in life. Um, I was constantly doubting myself, and I was constantly worried about the future, and just that moment of going outside to take the trash out was very significant for me. Because this has happened to me multiple times. For some reason, I think that when I take the trash out without, like listening to any music or any distractions around this time of night, like in this season, it just suddenly, I'm like trying to articulate the feeling that I have. I think it's just nostalgia, like I said before. It just reminds me of what it is to live. And I'm not constantly doubting myself, I'm not questioning myself, I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm just too focused on the act of observing, you know? And I want to tie this back into what I was saying at the beginning about, this entry being about um, you have all the answers. In 2023, when I was 24 years old, and I was doubting myself and questioning myself, and I was constantly anxious about where life would take me, and had this insufferable sense of FOMO. And don't get me wrong, like now I still feel those things, but it's so much easier to deal with. Like, it truly is like rewiring your brain and coming to a conclusion that you're exactly where you need to be at all given times. I think the difference between me back then and now is that when I went out to take the trash now, the difference was an overwhelming sense of peace within myself because I genuinely enjoy my own company now. And this is something that I had to actually learn from my friends. Two of my friends that I know that I have the, you know, honor of knowing, I would say. I noticed that um, they do this thing where they're both very uh, they're always doing something. Like if I have ADHD and I get stuck in analysis paralysis, um, it's very different for them. Like they are constantly doing something, you know? They get up and they are doing something or the other. And I asked one of my friends like this, and she said that I just enjoy my own company. It was such a simple answer. And these two of my friends are not even very spiritual, you know? They're like pretty logical people. You know, they don't really partake in the worldview that I do. Like they're different and they have their, you know, but something they do naturally is by enjoying their own company, they also spend time by themselves, which spiritually gives you the like solitude, gives you the space to find the answers yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to get at. Is I think we're constantly distracted by some sort of stimuli at all given times. So we don't truly have solitude in the real sense of things, you know? Like we're either at the gym listening to music, or we are sitting on a train and scrolling through our phones. So we're constantly engaging in some sort of activity that is keeping us occupied, which I don't really think is solitude. I've slowly started coming to a point because I don't know why this is happening to me. Um, but maybe my brain is getting fried. I don't know. But I find myself stopping myself in the act of listening to music at the gym. Like, I did that today. I was in the middle of a set and well, my earphones were also annoying me. But apart from that, I just like got annoyed and I just removed my earphones, put my phone in my pocket, and just focused on my set. And I know this is a very, people used to do this when they didn't have like iPods and all of these. They would be extremely focused on the task at hand. And I would say that that's why people back then had, you know, less anxiety and less like depression and mental health problems. It's because they were genuinely focused on the present moment. So this act of me going outside and taking the trash out, firstly, also I hate taking the trash out. So the fact that I find so much comfort in doing it is just very interesting to me. Um, but it gives me insight into every single point in my life, and it makes me reminisce on the person I used to be. You know what I'm trying to get at? I'm trying to get at the fact that true solitude is achieved through observation of self, through observation of your own patterns, through observation of understanding that you truly are the observer and not the things or the states that you occupy. And that can only be achieved when you can sit in silence. Something I've noticed, someone I've mentioned this before, someone who's moved to the United States, and it'll be 10 years of me living here. Americans don't like silence. It makes them very uncomfortable. It's something I've noticed. I've met very few Americans who, and I'm speaking about Americans because I'm here. I'm sure there are other countries that also do this, but specifically, like, I've noticed is, like, Americans don't like silence. That's why they make small talk. And small talk when I was a people pleaser, and when I was deeply insecure, like, I became insecure, small talk would be fine by me. Like, I wouldn't really care that much. But at this point in my life, it bothers me. And I've noticed that, but I don't reach to fill the space anymore, you know? Because in my head, it's like if I have something to say, I'll say it. But most of the time, if I'm meeting someone new, just passing by, I don't really have anything to say apart from, hey, how's your day going, you know? Especially if it's like at a checkout counter and I really don't want to talk to anyone like that. And that's fine. Like, I don't know why it's like not okay to be silent anymore. This is something I've noticed with people back in India, like at least when I was growing up. I don't know if it's changed, but people were very comfortable with silence. You know, there wasn't like this incessant need to fill it at all times. And I think that's because I think just also as a culture, we take our time, like to observe, to at least the India I grew up in, the India I know, the culture that I perceive. I feel that it's very much a slow, observant type of culture. And in the US, I've noticed that everything is rushed, it's fast paced. And I'm sure it's the same. I mean, there are parts of India that are like that, but I'm just talking in terms of a culture. Like, it's just, at this point in this video, I am ranting, as you can tell. But anyway, come back to my point. I think that if you really want to achieve the answers to whatever it is, the problem you're having, life, whatever, you already have the answers. And trust me when I say this, because this is coming from someone who used to be 24 years old and has probably watched every single self-help video online. And then now at this point in my life, instead of consuming more of these videos, unless it's for research purposes, I just decided that I want to start making them instead, you know? Because Eckhart Tolle said something when I'd gone to see him once, and I will say what he says. The world needs more wisdom. It doesn't need more information. It needs more wisdom. It already has a lot of wisdom. It just needs more information. It already has a lot of information. It needs more wisdom. And wisdom is applying what you learn. Information is going online and watching these videos and consuming. And wisdom is actually doing it. So for the you already had the answers part, right? Whatever problem that you're going through in your life right now, you already have the answers to it. And the only way you're going to seek them or get them is by sitting with yourself in silence. And if that makes you awkward and uncomfortable, that's exactly what you need to do. Because the answers lie in the work you're avoiding. Addictions come from the fact that we're avoiding ourselves. And this is also coming from somebody who used to be heavily addicted to nicotine. Even though I used to keep telling myself that it's not an addiction, it was. Or someone who used to be addicted to food. Or also someone who used to be addicted to, like, I don't know. Yeah, look, those two things come to mind specifically. But it was because I was avoiding things in my life. Avoiding feeling the feelings, avoiding feeling sad, avoiding crying, avoiding feeling my emotions, avoiding all of those things. And the second I decided to just go through that grief, go through that reality, accept it for what it is, it wasn't that hard. You know? It wasn't hard to face it. Because once I faced it, I felt free. And in order for you to be free, you need to go through it. Because it's a paradox. If you didn't feel negativity, you wouldn't know positivity. And if you didn't feel positivity, you wouldn't know negativity. Feeling your negative emotions is a positive experience. and feeling your positive emotions sometimes can also be a negative experience. But my point being, feeling your negative feelings or emotions is a positive experience. And the only way you're going to get the answers is by sitting in solitude without any distractions. So, next time you take the trash out, don't put any earphones on. Don't have your phone in your hand. Put it in the pocket. Fuck it, leave it at home. Okay? Leave it at home. Go for a walk. Look outside. Look at the birds. Look at the trees. Look at the people around you. Make up stories. Be a child again. Be free. Do you know why children are so free? Because they're so playful. They ask so many questions. They're just so free. Try doing that for just one day. Just see how much better you'll feel. Trust me. Anyway, I'm gonna go clean. But I'll see you guys soon. Disco out.